生命禅院邀请书。传统家庭和禅院家庭的区別。
The differences between traditional family and Chanyuan family. Jiefeng.
Septembre 2020-2007.
Someone may say, Chanyuan always proclaims to break from the family, yet it is building a new family by itself, Chanyuan. This is a misunderstanding to Lifechanyuan, a symbol of not knowing the essence of Lifechanyuan at all. Rice wine, red wine and Maotai all are wine but different in nature. Apricot tree, peach tree and willow all are trees but different in nature. Ant, elephant and people are life but different in nature. Ignorant people, sage and celestial all are human being but different in nature. The Democratic Party, Republican Party and Communist Party all are political parties but different in nature. Buddhism, Christian and Islam all are religions but different in nature. Traditional family and Chanyuan family are families but different in nature. The differences between traditional family and Chanyuan family. Traditional family. Center on kindreds and parents. Affinity-disaffinity classify by blood relationship. Limited number of people. Have parents, children and marriage. Can't make the planet into one family. Results of private ownership. Inevitably result in private ownership. Result in a series of competition and suffering. Family member can't enjoy freedom. Chanyuan family. Center on the greatest creator. Affinity-disaffinity classify by the resonant frequency with the greatest creator's Tao. Unlimited number of people. No parents, children and marriage. Can make the planet into one family. Results of non-ownership. Inevitable result in non-ownership. Eliminate the competition and lessen the suffering to the maximum. Family member can enjoy the maximum freedom. It can be seen from the chart that there are a world of differences between traditional family and Chanyuan family, not the same at all. Life must belong to something, otherwise it cannot exist. Life body must have a home, otherwise it is called ghost. There are all kinds of home modes in the universe. Some people regard traditional family as their home. Some people regard workplace as their home. Some people regard religious group as their home. Some people regard their country as home. Some people regard the universe as their home. And the Lifechanyuan regard the greatest creator's Tao as their home. Apparently, there seems no difference between the traditional family and Chanyuan family. Both of them are family modes, but they vary in contents and forms. That is to say, they are similar in form, vary in contents. Going to America from North Korea, getting into Islam from Buddhism, taking part in the Communist Party from the Republican Party, getting into the thousand-year world from the mortal world. Although all of them are abandoning one and adapting another, their nature and contents are totally different. Leaving the traditional family and getting into the Chanyuan family, which seems to be going to a family from another, but the contents of life are totally different. Chanyuan family can do, and even can do lots of things that the traditional family is not able to do. Getting into Lifechanyuan family from the traditional family is like getting into the thousand-year world from the mortal world. Everything is different. Frogs whether live in wells, ponds, rivers, lakes and seas, they all live in water, but the value and the significance of their life are totally different. We can feel the differences between living in the single-story building of 10 square meters, storied houses of 100 square meters and villa of 1,000 square meters. Living in traditional family is like living in a single-story building of 10 square meters. Living in Lifechanyuan family is like living in the villa of 1,000 square meters. It is not the same as you walk out a single-story building of 10 square meters to another. It is difficult for one to imagine what Lifechanyuan family is if he has never been there. How can you make judgments on Lifechanyuan family if you have never been there and experienced its lifestyle? And if you insist in making comments, it will be like the tale of the blind men describing an elephant. To a person who has never eaten cactus, no matter how you describe its taste and the way to eat it, it is useless unless you are the cactus or the greatest creator. There aren't walls in Lifechanyuan family. To those who said there are walls in family, the walls are built by themselves and are the projections of their own thinking and consciousness. To people have fully achieved Tao, it makes no difference where he lives or with whom he lives. But to people who is cultivating Tao and holding Tao, the collective self-refinement is very important. I have explained this theory thoroughly in Life is a Journey. It is very easy to understand that only the combination of an oxygen atom and two hydrogen atoms can constitute a water molecule. Only the unite of an adult female and an adult male can make reproduction.
生命禅院国际大家庭
Lifechanyuan International Family. The new Oasis for Life community was founded in 2009 by Xiefeng in Yunnan Province, China. From 2009 to 2016, it had been called the Second Home, which implied that the community was a sweet and harmonious family home apart from each one's home of origin, and this second home also applied a new and different lifestyle. The second home community had attracted many Chanyuan celestials from China to come and live there permanently, and we grew to 180 members of all ages living within the community at our peak. However, Lifechanyuan values were too advanced for many Chinese people to understand and accept, so as we expanded and became more known to the public, we encountered tremendous resistance from local governments which ultimately forced us to disband in late 2016. During all these years, Xiefeng always held a vision to unite communities around the world to form a big international family. In January 2017, anticipating a better future, Xiefeng decided to change the community name to the New Oasis for Life, and to explore new opportunities by visiting countries outside of China. In September 2017, after a few months' exploration in Canada, a property was bought as a new community home in Canada. By this time, he felt ready to put his dream into practice, to call on the communities around the world to unite as one, an international family. Lifechanyuan International Family Society thus was registered in British Columbia, Canada.
让天下知道生命禅院
Let Lifechanyuan be known to all the world. Xiefeng. April 4, 2007. Translation edited by Kayer. Lifechanyuan rises onto the 21st century's historical stage with its brand new concept. It ascends above those narrow concepts of political parties, religions, nationalities, and countries, and opens a new chapter of human development with a new vision, and it will usher people into the new Lifechanyuan era. It integrates religion with science and explains comprehensively the birth of the universe, the origin of the greatest creator, the origins of life and humankind, the mysteries of time and space, the meaning, purpose, and value of life, the crises faced by humankind, the future of humankind, the origin and function of the moon, and especially the meaning of life, the levels of life, and the meaning and extension of Tao. It inherits and defends the thoughts and wisdom of Jesus Christ, Buddha, and all saints, sages, and prophets. It integrates spiritual sensual development, self-improvement, self-refinement, health preservation, one's conduct, spiritual sublimation, and the information of the new era as a whole, and it raises the consciousness of humans to an unperceived level, which lays the thought foundation for humankind to enter into the Lifechanyuan era now. The basic theories of Lifechanyuan are unconventional thinking, the greatest creator, time, space, and the universe, revelations, treasures of classical advice, humanity, human life, self-improvement and self-cultivation, life and life, physical and spiritual health care, life's wisdom, the attainment of Buddhahood, celestial cultivation, preaching Tao, the non-material world, Xiefeng corpus. Articles by the masters from both home and abroad, from antiquity to modernity. Inspirations and understandings of Chanyuan celestials in Lifechanyuan. 36-dimensional space. The Noble Eightfold Path of Thinking. 80 new concepts proposed by Lifechanyuan. All are epoch-making wisdom and will play incredible roles in changing completely the thinking mode of humankind and turn them into a new humankind. Lifechanyuan advocates people to revere the greatest creator, life and nature, respect Buddha, the gods and their parents, and follow the way of the greatest creator. These are the core conditions for establishing harmonious mechanisms between people among each other, people and gods, people and nature, people and other lives, and are the required conditions for mankind to enter the new era. Implementing the strategy of unifying all religions into a single belief system, Lifechanyuan are to completely eliminate all the conflicts and discordant factors of humankind, which are caused by the competition of ideological fields of religions, political ideologies, nationalities, countries, and other divisive elements, and will lead mankind into a peaceful era, the Lifechanyuan era. Indications of the Lifechanyuan era will be the following. Religions, political persuasions, and national borders will die out. Wars, diseases, famines, and crime will disappear. Familial relationships will dissolve. Spiritual and soulful cultivation will replace material enjoyment. Natural disasters will lessen. We will be led by saints and managed by sages. No one will pocket anything found on the ground and doors will not be bolted at night. Life will include prosperity, peace, and tranquility. The talented will be put to their best use. The world will be as a single family. The Lifechanyuan era will last for a millennium. People will enjoy lifespans of half that, and the ideal paradise that mankind has always dreamed of will become established. Lifechanyuan will not only allow people to enjoy the pleasures and happiness of this life, but it will also guide people to extend their lives to the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, and the Elysium world through self-refinement of thinking. Since Lifechanyuan proposed major adjustments of life in the universe in 2013, prophecies of Mayan astrology and Tibetan monks have become known to the world. This unrelated information similarly predicted that there would be a catastrophe in 2009 and that the Earth would undergo a radical change in 2013, and was basically consistent with the information of the New Era, Words of Jesus Christ and Sakyamuni Nostradamus Prophecies and Predictions, 2A Bay 2, 24 volumes on military strategy, and others. Therefore, it is an important period of life and death for humankind. Saving millions of lives is an overriding priority. All spiritually conscious people, and those who wish to enter into the Lifechanyuan era, should give up their personal interests and devote their precious time to the grand cause of promoting Lifechanyuan. You must not only use all your time to self-improve and self-refine, but also to help people around you understand Lifechanyuan. Strive to build merits and sublimate your consciousness and qualities. Any hesitation, wandering, or waiting only results in a waste of time and becomes a regret. All bits of merit will work and become embedded into our structures of life. Even if they are not for others, but for yourselves, we hope that you who read this article will promote and build Lifechanyuan, and do your best to reprint Lifechanyuan's articles onto other websites. Your efforts will not be in vain because even if people cannot repay you, the greatest creator's Tao will. Punishments might not be immediate, but they will be sure. Fluky minds can only anesthetize and deceive people. Doing good deeds is the only way out. Let Lifechanyuan be known to all the world.
生命是有灵性的一种反物质结构生命禅院的生命观。
Life is a non-material structure with spiritualism. The view of life in Lifechanyuan. Jiefeng. Translation edited by Kayer. Studying the implicit and explicit meanings of life is the core issue for the sustainable development of humankind. If life issue is not clear, then we cannot judge whether the current human values are right or wrong. 1. A difficult journey. I am an ordinary person. Whenever I get hit by life, I ask myself why this is, why I should live, and what the meaning of my life is, because living without knowing these things is no better than dying. However, conversations about heaven and hell make people feel that it is wrong to die for nothing and that it is better to figure out the meaning of life before deciding how we will die. So, how do we figure out the essence of life and where do we discover its meaning? I started looking for the source and destination of life. First, I read some Buddhist scriptures, then the Bible, the Quran, the Tao Te Ching, and finally browsed Seth's expositions on life. My search remained unfulfilled. The answer must be sought from science, so I made a rough exploration of Newtonian physics, Einstein's special and general relativity, quantum mechanics, superstring theory, cosmological holography, the unified field theory, and Stephen Hawking's book, A Brief History of Time. The results still escaped me. Those searches only left me with the option to explore on my own. What occurred to me first were two questions: why the human body is externally symmetrical and what forces make it such. The reasons must have lied in the structure of the life factor at the beginning, so let us examine what kind of structure the life factor has. Matter is composed of molecules which are composed of atoms which are composed of protons, neutrons, and electrons. Next, it is time to delve into the elementary particles. Going forward, you enter the space of subparticles, and one set of the subparticle spaces is quarks, also called straton by some Chinese physicists, and space named by Murray Gell-Mann of the California Institute of Technology. But what kind of structures do quarks have? According to Nobel Prize winner Professor Tsung-Dao Lee, whether quarks exist is still a mystery to be solved, but although I am unsure whether microscopic matter can be divided infinitely, I do believe in the existence of quarks because the structures of nuclei and extranuclear electrons are not ones that can lead to the symmetry of life bodies. We assume that quarks exist. Are life quarks a factor of life? And of what elementary things are quarks made? It seems impossible to divide particles indefinitely because neither particle accelerators nor synchrotron radiation devices can see the submicroscopic material world. Therefore, we must take elementary particles as the object for our study. From the wave-particle duality, we know that particles have spin characteristics. From quantum mechanics, we know that the spins of particles do not have axes of rotation for 4 reasons. Some particles look the same from any direction. Some look the same after they have turned 360 degrees. Some look the same after they have turned 180 degrees. Some look the same only after they have turned 720 degrees. Therefore, the particles are divided into 2 groups. One group has particles with spins of 1/2, and the other group has particles with spins of 0, 1, and 2. We know from the Pauli exclusion principle and the Heisenberg uncertainty principle that 2 similar particles cannot have the same position and velocity at the same time. According to Dirac's theory, an electron must have its mate, an anti-electron. In other words, every particle has an antiparticle that can annihilate it. Based on this, Stephen Hawking believed there may also be anti-worlds and anti-humans composed of antiparticles. These theories of particle annihilation seem to be close to the edge of the symmetrical structure of life, but they are still not real people. In order to combine quantum field theory, which has difficulty explaining gravity, and general relativity, the superstring theory has been established. It proposes that elementary particles are not point particles, but one-dimensional strings of which all particles in nature are vibration modes of them. In this way, submicroscopic material structures do not exist as particles, but become actual vibrations like the melodies from musical instruments. The problem is that whether it is the M theory that can unify the 5 superstring theories in 11-dimensional supergravity, or the matrix theory, neither can solve the unification of the 4 interacting forces: gravity, electromagnetism, the weak nuclear force, and the strong nuclear force. Some have tried to explain this with the theory of cosmic holography. The 3 states of holography are matter, motion, and thought. In other words, in addition to mass and energy, there is also the cosmic phenomenon of thinking, also known as thought energy. In this way, mankind has broken through the bondage of pure matter by including consciousness within it. Here, human understanding has taken a giant leap forward. On the basis of the holographic theory, people began trying to establish a unified field theory. During the 1920s, Einstein proposed a unified field theory, hoping to unify gravity and electromagnetism, but he failed in spite of spending all of his latter years trying. So, where did the first cause come from? Since the law of universal gravitation cannot answer the question of where the first driving force came from, Newton proposed that it must have come from the greatest creator. It is believed that the unified field theory solves the problem of the first cause and the spin of celestial bodies, including particle spin, namely the role of one component of the gravitational unified field, which when at the tangential direction on one hand makes celestial bodies curve spatially together with other components of the same gravitational unified fields, and on the other, these tangential forces lead to rotating torques which make bodies spin around their axis at the same time. The recent unified field theory recognized that in addition to mass and energy, thought energy is a type of super-time and space existence form, which is capable of connecting with the outside world. It is also believed that the amount of space, time, and consciousness can be converted into each other. The composition of black holes is neither mass nor energy but huge bodies of consciousness. The cores of particles are energy of thought, and the universe is a holographic unity. This is very great wisdom indeed. But exactly how was the universe born? How did life originate? Why do people have good and bad morals? These problems cannot be solved satisfactorily by this unified field theory. After having studied Gödel's incompleteness theorem, Hawking realized that a unified field theory is impossible to achieve because, according to Gödel's incompleteness theorem, within any system, a pair of unprovable, contradictory propositions exists which must consist of a true proposition which in turn is also unprovable. Simply speaking, there are no immovable objects or unstoppable forces. Would it not be a paradox if both were possible? Hawking believed that this incompleteness theorem also applies to physics. Therefore, he gave up. At this point, science had temporarily stopped. 2. Sudden enlightenment. I was unwilling to end my exploration after searching this far. The French scientist Pierre-Simon Laplace imagined, "We may regard the present state of the universe as the effect of its past and the cause of its future. Consider an intellect which at a certain moment would know all forces that set nature into motion and all positions of all items of which nature is composed. If this intellect were also vast enough to submit these data to analysis, it would embrace in a single formula the movements of the greatest bodies of the universe and those of the tiniest atoms. For such an intellect, nothing would be uncertain and the future would present before its eyes just as the past." Pierre-Simon Laplace. Philosophical Essay on Probabilities, translated from the 6th French edition by Frederick Wilson Truscott and Frederick Lincoln Emery, Dover Publications, New York, 1951, pages 4. Is it possible for me to become such an intellect? If neither religious classics nor scientific achievements can supply answers to my questions, then where can I find them? Since the unified field theory supposes the universe to be a holographic unity and energy of thinking to be an existence form of hyperspace which is capable of connecting the outside world, then why do I not apply this theory in practice? So I began self-refinement. I practiced my thinking, focused my thought energy, and dispatched my consciousness to the universe to see if it would work. That night I went to bed after practicing, lying on the bed, meditating and feeling, and suddenly a few sentences entered into my mind. Jesus Christ said that as long as I have pure faith, I can plant a tree next to myself in the sea. Another message from Lao Tzu told me that Tao has no clear and fixed entity. What does it look like? It is elusive and infinite and has forms in which there are entities so profound and obscure as to harbor the very essence of energy. This essence of energy is true and verifiable. The last sentence was from Buddha Sakyamuni. Everything with form is unreal. Aha, here is the secret. I laughed, rolling across the bed, and finally could not help but laugh under the quilt. Do you know what I found? Holographic order. All secrets lie in holographic order, not chaos. Looking back at the mortal world, religious mysteries and human ignorance became obvious, but what the scientists were seeking is so simple. It is like children playing with mud. You scolded someone yesterday, and a bird pooped on your head today. Is there an inevitable connection? You will know it when you find holographic order. 3. Life is a non-material structure with spirituality. How do we describe life accurately? I read Dr. Christopher Langton from Los Alamos National Laboratory in the U.S.'s description on life, in which he said, "The essence of life lies not in its substance but in its form." Inspired by those words, I inferred the following. Life is a non-material structure having spirituality. Life can be described as 1 + 1 is equal to 1. The greatest creator does not dominate our lives. Reincarnation transmigration happens instantaneously with no process in between. The view on doomsday in various religions is wrong. There is no doomsday for life, and death is not the end of life. The process of life is like the process of writing a fax. Life can be faxed. The nature of transmigration of life is what goes around comes around. As one sows, so shall they reap. For more details, please turn to the Chinese Soul chapter of Life of Lifechanyuan.